Sudan's Abdallah Hamdok stepped down as Prime Minister on Sunday after months of political turmoil in the country. In a speech to the nation, Hamdok announced his expected resignation, telling the Sudanese that he decided to return them the mission you had entrusted to me. He announced his resignation after the killing of 3 protesters in Khartoum by the security forces, after seeing his failure to prevent escalation, and he has no control over the political developments in the country. His resignation confirms the death of his 21st November political agreement with the Commander-in-Chief of the Sudanese Army Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. The former Prime Minister admitted his failure to bring the political forces to agree on a political declaration enabling him to form a government of technocrats as it was agreed in the framework agreement with al-Burhan. I have tried as much as I can to avoid our country from the danger of slipping into disaster, he said. He added that he spoke with all the components of the transition about the historical responsibility they have to bear. Also, he underscored that the people are the ultimate sovereign authority and the armed forces have to comply with their will. For several days it was clear that Hamdok would resign as he realized the popular rejection of his deal with Burhan and that he did not get the support of the Forces for Freedom and Change. The other sticky point for him was that he considered the formation of a government of technocrats without the ministers of the armed groups. But the latter rejected the idea of abandoning their positions. Also, it becomes clear for him that the coup leaders have no intention to commit themselves to the agreement signed with him as they continue to arrest activists and use brutal violence to disperse the protests. A spokesman for the Sudanese Congress Party, SCOP, Nur Eldon Babiki, said that with Hamdok's resignation the military have lost their last card to induce international recognition and popular support. Things are now clear. So, this facilitates the unification of all political forces to bring down the military, he said. Some 57 protesters were killed as a result of the bloody crackdown on the anti-coup protests, including 15 people after the Burhan-Hamdok deal. In response to Hamdok's resignation, the U.S. State Department called on the Sudanese to reach a consensus to ensure continued civilian rule. Sudan's next PM and cabinet should be appointed in line with the constitutional declaration to meet the people's goals of freedom, peace, and justice, said the Bureau of African Affairs at the State Department in a tweet posted after the announcement of the resignation. Also, the State Department reiterated the U.S. continued support to the Sudanese people in their demand for democracy and urged to stop violence against protesters. Six people have been killed and homes torched in an attack Monday by suspected al-Shabaab militants in Kenya's coastal Lamu region that borders Somalia, a local government official said. I confirm that we had an attack suspected to be by al-Shabaab at a place known as Wadu, and we have lost 6 people. 1 was shot dead and we also have others who were burned, said Lamu County Commissioner Arungu Macharia. Our security forces are pursuing them, and we urge support from locals to help us because when we work together we succeed. Al-Shabaab fighters have staged several large-scale attacks inside Kenya in retaliation for Nairobi sending troops into Somalia in 2011 as part of an African Union force to degrade the jihadists. The al-Qaeda-linked group is seeking to overthrow the internationally backed government in Mogadishu, and controls swathes of southern Somalia from where it regularly launches attacks in the capital and elsewhere. Kenya Airways and South African Airways to form new airlines to launch in 2023. A potential partnership between Kenya Airways and South African Airways appears to be a done deal. Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta announced during an address to the nation on New Year's Eve that the airlines will combine operations to form a new carrier, Pan-African Airline, with operations expected to begin in 2023. The partnership came about as both airlines sought options to expand their global coverage as well as stem the massive losses each has incurred as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to The Standard, Uhuru said the alignment will help to boost tourism, trade, and social engagement, and to bolster continental integration. According to one aviation industry observer, a merger offers both carriers the best chance to stay solvent. Both of these airlines were struggling financially before COVID-19, so you know they're hanging by a thread, noted John Edie Scala, the founder and editor-in-chief of Johnny Jet. I think it's a great idea to keep them both afloat. A big question that remains unanswered at the moment is what this means for the airline's network partnerships. South African Airways is part of Star Alliance, the biggest international alliance of airlines. Kenya Airways belongs to SkyTeam. There has been no information released about which network the new airline will be part of. That decision will obviously impact the number of travelers who want to learn if they will be able to redeem Delta or United miles when Pan African Airline debuts.